Well done. Okay, to Illinois. By the way, Big Ten media poll came out this morning. Illinois was the consensus second place team in the poll. Indiana was the consensus winner. Michigan was third. Michigan State was fourth, as voted by the media, which absolutely shocks me. But we can get to that later. For now, we want to talk about Illinois' new commit. Dra-Gibbs Lawhorn has committed to the Illini. He was a Purdue commit. And then it seemed like for a moment he was flirting with Michigan State because he's Jeremy Fear's teammate, correct?
AAU teammate.
Yeah, so shooting guard type. I like his game from what I've seen. Matt Painter needed a guard. It seemed like that recruitment went south because Gibbs Lawhorn wanted to visit a couple other schools while committed to Purdue. Matt Painter said, hell no. Gibbs said, okay, I'm out. And then, he was at a Michigan State practice like 2 days after he decommitted. I don't know that Michigan State ever offered him. So I don't know what that was about that he was at the practice. But he ends up at Illinois, which is another string of good news for Illinois. And I would say good commits for Illinois. How do you feel about Gibbs Lawhorn in Illinois?
I think it's a good pickup. I really like Gibbs Lawhorn as a player. I was actually pretty scared. I was pretty scared that he was going to Purdue because he was gonna. And then once he decommitted, I was like, oh, like maybe he'll go because he took a visit to Memphis. I know he's got pretty good ties. I guess he has a pretty good relationship with Penny. So I was like, okay, yeah, go ahead and go to Memphis. He'll be a really good college player. I'm not saying he's like a NBA prospect or anything, but I think he'll turn himself into or has the potential to be, like an all Big Ten type player. He's an undersized guard, but I think he's really gritty. He can score the ball really well. It's a really good pickup for Illinois, and I'm kind of looking into their future a little bit. Let's say Sky Clark has a year. Let's say Sky Clark leaves after 1 year. I think Gibbs Lawhorn can give you an option at the point guard. And if Sky Clark stays, I think he has also another option at the point guard position. So once again, shout out to Brad Underwood, just doing what he does, doing what the t-shirt says, and dominating the recruiting trail. Shout out to him.
Yeah, he's just the scariest man in the Big Ten right now. Let's call it what it is. There's not a lot of scary men in the Big Ten right now. Like no matter how good Indiana is this year, am I scared of Mike Woodson? Never. He's got to show me something. Am I scared of Tom Izzo right now? I'm sorry, Cart. I'm not. Like he barely wants to build a full roster, right? If I was a different team, would I be?
Are you speaking as a Michigan basketball fan?
I'm speaking this as a fan of anyone that's not Michigan State or anyone that's not Indiana when I talk about Woodson.
Okay.
Just in general. I don't mean
because that as a Michigan basketball fan, you should fear Tom Izzo.
I would actually say that Izzo has he's more dangerous to Michigan than he is other programs right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct. But so going down the line though, right? Like if I was not a Michigan fan, would I be afraid of Juwan Howard? No, I don't think I would be at all. I think like his teams have kind of underachieved and on the recruiting trail maybe, but right now I think he's like a pros guy who's going to go back to the pros at some point. Brad's the only guy in the conference I'm terrified of. Like Fran McCaffrey, Greg Gard, Matt Painter, if he couldn't do it with last year's team, no thank you. Like Brad is scary in all facets on the recruiting trail, on the court, until you get to the first weekend in March, and then all of a sudden something happens. And maybe that changes. I would bet on it changing for sure, because I think he's just too good of a coach for the trend in March to continue. But yeah, I don't think Sky Clark's going to be a one and done. Back to your point, like the core going forward to me is Clark, Gibbs Lawhorn, Ty Rodgers a couple years from now, and like whoever's left from Melendez and Goody, that's a squad. It's a really good team. It's a really fun young core. And if he keeps adding via the portal the way he did this year, like you can plug and play 1 to 2 guys in with that core, and that team's going to be at the top of the Big Ten for the next 2-3 years. So Good job, Brad. I'm so jealous, man. Why? Like you and I are just in a state of misery in general with everything in sports. And then like, oh, Illinois check in, great things are happening still.
It really had me thinking. I brought this up in a car conversation the other day. How come we don't just like take it year by year, like contracts, like of who we're going to support?
I would love to opt out. I would love to hold out right now from being a
Like, why am I putting myself through this? Why don't I just be an Alabama football fan or a Georgia football fan this year?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know why you do that.
I don't know. I'll
We can
consider it.
figure it out. We'll figure it out. Let's move to our teams. Two of our teams that we're devastated with right now. One's the Pistons.